Hello and welcome to another update video about render. I promised today in our member live stream to make a render video because there have been a lot of requests, and yeah, it's not a terribly clear chart, it never has been, but there were in previous updates, which is now some weeks back, we talked about this ABC structure in the white count with first target at around $13.20. Well, that's been reached basically. The alternative scenario, or the second other, whatever you want to call it, scenario was that possibly 5 waves topped here, but it would have required a break below $1.71 to confirm that. And as you can see, the support area did hold. So confirming further upside obviously is always the case. As long as we're holding above support, there's no reason really to get bearish. However, now, in this count, A, B, and wave C, the count is pretty much, it is pretty much full if we say, okay, we just do it without looking at the subwave structures, because we have 3 waves up in A, we have a B wave, and we're basically close to reaching the 100% extension. Now you can say, okay, but the C wave doesn't have clear 5 waves. Well, I would agree, but bear in mind it could always be a WXY structure in which the Y wave is just an ABC. And I have to say as well that the subwaves are not clear at all. So I'm not a fan of this chart, not because it's bearish or anything. I've never said that. It's just not clear from an Elliott wave micro count point of view. So it's best to use Fibonacci levels to support. And I can only share with you the ideal Fib levels here between $13.19, then $23, 32, and 56. Even though 56 would be quite a stretch, but possible in a C wave. So again, if you want to take some profits here or not, that's entirely up to you. I think it's always reasonable to maybe at least take initial investment out if you entered somewhere, because bear in mind that after 3 waves, which we have here, a chart can always form a top. The bull market probably is still unfolding, but if we say, look at this, if this is an ABC, and it might form a top here, then we could call this also a larger A wave, and then we get a deep B wave pullback at some point. And then we can get, if there is a second bull market or whatever, it can always be that we form a top somewhere and Bitcoin surprises to the downside or something. But we always want to focus on each chart on its own. All I can say, we are nearing the first target. I don't see any confirmation of a top, but you see first reaction to the target range. It would really take a break below the last swing low here at 565 to suggest a more substantial top is in place. Again, the microstructure isn't clear at all, so I'm absolutely not suggesting that this is what's playing out. There are many other micro counts that could play out. For example, if this really is a C wave to the upside, it's also possible to say this is a 1, this is a 2. And then we basically had this A, B, C, because we're dealing here with an ending diagonal. If it's a C wave, then we could get another 4, 5. But it's not clear enough for me to give you any sort of additional setups or anything. I don't even know. I'm not confident in this at all. So really the last swing low is at 565. Just to give an idea, if this is a count that I actually like, okay, the third wave would need to probably reach it already, yeah. It's way extended, the third, so that begs the question, is this really what's going on? So the wave 1 could be here, could be there. Bit tricky, okay, bit tricky. But I can tell you that, okay, if a wave 4 pullback occurs from here, what would be the support region? It's also quite far away. That tells you a lot about the risk and tells you about the relevance of partial profit taking. So if we are now pulling back in a wave 4, this would be the support region between $4 and $8.15. The thing is though, I don't think necessarily that the wave 4 will be that low. It wouldn't look right. Therefore, let's take out the golden ratio. Also, even if this is an ending diagonal, really it ideally doesn't break below the 50% Fib level. That's at $5. So $5 is key support. What else is there to say? I don't think there's much to say. There's no great entry here. I can tell you that as well. I don't think It's a great entry point. I think it's a bit late in the game for anybody who still seeks exposure, but not saying you shouldn't. I mean, it can always, there is no sign of a top in place at all, right? Just saying that the risk at this stage is quite high. Now, you can always get a position. We talked about that today in the member live stream. You can always get a position even if a coin has already rallied. The question is about position size. You need to manage your position size wisely so that in case we get a dip into a support region, which always has to be expected, you're not panicking. You could then rather use that dip to accumulate, basically in a low risk, high reward setup situation. That's all I can say really about Render at the moment. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.